Welcome to the Astrology Chronicles, Celestial Wisdom for the Soul. Hi, I'm Patty Kamson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur, also a certified energetic healer and founder of Crystal Energy Arrangements.
And I'm Tamerri, the Astro Fashionista, certified astrologer, Reiki energy healer, and founder of Gift of the Nile Wellness.
The Astrology Chronicles podcast will be your go-to spot for diving deep into the world of astrology and discovering how it influences your day-to-day life with personal stories and real-life client examples.
Our goal? To shine a light and share some love with everyone who tunes in. Whether you're astrology curious or a seasoned star chart reader, there's something here for you. So grab your favorite cozy spot and let's explore the stars together. Hi, everyone. My name is Tamerri, the Astro Fashionista, and welcome to our podcast. We're so excited. Patty, introduce yourself.
So excited. I'm Patty Kamson, intuitive astrologer and crystal connoisseur. I've been doing astrology for almost 25 years, and it's one of my most favorite things on earth to talk about.
Yes. And Patty and I, look, when we get together, hours can go by. So we're going to try to keep these short and concise for you, but we're here to bring you all the tea on astrology, relationships, how we use it in our lives, how you can use it. And we really wanted to kick this first episode off by talking about, how we fell in love with astrology, what our journey was, and how it's helped us share a little bit of our charts. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to let Patty go first. Because she just has like an amazing story. And I didn't even tell you how we met. We met through, my Reiki master, Rhonda, and she connected us and we became like astrology friends, like just, both astrologers, and we started having like dates. And then the pandemic happened and we got to know each other really well. We actually just met in person recently, which is crazy because I feel like she is my mama sent to me. And we'll go into that. But I'm going to let Patty kind of tell her story and then I'll go into mine. So,
Patty, thank you. So astrology, let's turn some light on. There we go. So I have always been intuitive. And I've always gotten things from a little girl and it just happened and I had no control over it. And what I found out about myself is that I'm a little controlling. So I just don't naturally trust. I have a little skepticism in me. And so it was always there. I got married very young and he was not the most trustworthy person. And so my intuition really kicked in and it was about me learning to trust that intuition. But with his life, being from Africa, he let me know that my intuition was bad and we should never talk about it and never use it. He called it juju. And so because I was so in love and so young and so naive, I said, okay. And I just shut down. And then life happened, children, still going through all these hard things. He got arrested in 1997. And it was like literally an explosion. And everything that was gone. And all of my spiritual gifts just came right in my face. And I went on a journey of exploration and acceptance. Yeah. And so that's when astrology really kicked in. I started taking classes, going to conferences. And that's when it was like, okay, this is who you are. This is what you do. It truly helped me with my children. It helped me understand who my parents are, what my connection was with my ex-husband, my friend, everything, girl, meeting you. That's how we were like, okay, well, what are you and what are you and what do you do and how? So just to give you the breakdown of my top three, I am a Pisces sun, Libra rising, Libra moon. And we will go into more details about all of that because when you just hear that information, you would think that I am just in the clouds, just la la la. with no tethering. But I am the opposite. I'm very grounded, responsible. And so that's what we want to share and talk about, that it is so much deeper and more complex than you're a Pisces sun and a Libra rising. There's so much that goes into it that really allows you to see who you are and how to access these gifts that you have. And I got to practice on my children, which really gave me so much wealth because I saw it in real life, in real time, just everything.
And
So
your
that's
children
just a
are
little snippet.
lovely. Her children are, they're all beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
They're
thank
just like,
you.
just very, they're just great. They're grown,
Thank
right? But they're just
They're
amazing.
grown.
Like you touch them. Like I can tell that they're amazing, and that really has to do a lot with you. So just my
Thank you.
yes. That is such an interesting journey. And it's crazy. I don't think I ever realized it was 1997 when your life kind of like, I'll say blew up, because that was like, it was like your birth, a rebirth, right? A tower card
Yes,
and tarot.
yes, for
Um,
sure.
because that was also an interesting time for me. And I'll be 40 next month, while we're recording this. And we're about, what, 20 years apart, right?
Yes, I just turned 60 last week.
Triple 20s. I love that. And you were born the same year as my mom, which is crazy. And my mom's a Capricorn, or was a Capricorn, and you're a Pisces, but it was the same year. So that's significant. And I think that's a good segue for my story, because my astrology journey is definitely connected to that and my mother. So when I was born, my dad's, one of his best friends, is a spiritual practitioner in Ifa, and he did my natal chart during my naming ceremony. So, that was 1984. And so astrology was something that my parents, or really my dad, kind of talked to me about. I remember learning about zodiac signs when I was 6. Like my friend asked me my sign in 2nd grade, and I didn't even know what that was. And my dad explained it. She's Capricorn. Shout out to Milan. Yeah, I was born crazy. I was born on Easter Sunday.
Mm.
Easter is always the full moon after the spring equinox, like the first full moon. That's when Easter Sunday is. So I was born on that Sunday, and it was late because I was born under the sign of Taurus, so that's a later Easter. And I was born on Earth Day. So that's also kind of crazy, So I kind of felt like I was born under astrological, circumstances. And so when I was 13, 1998, so, when we'll get into like planetary movements and all of that. January of 1998, my mom took her life. And so that I was 13. And so that was my first year of high school. And I was always younger I was in high school very young because I skipped a grade. So it was a crazy time. I was thrust into being an adult. And quote unquote, like it sounds a little bit dramatic, but I'm the firstborn. I have a younger brother. My dad is a Libra. I don't know his rising because he doesn't have his birth time, but he's like mostly Libra energy, Aries moon. He's brilliant, but he's not grounded at all. Let's just say that. And I have so much earth and water in my chart. I have Saturn in the first house, conjunct my ascendant. I'm a very like heavy, and I'm also very controlling. So imagine, I had this experience, and obviously the experience didn't just happen to me, but in your family, you internalize it different. So my dad had, he had to switch into, he was his mom passed when he was 9 too. So it was almost like there was a cycle, repeating, where he had to, my mom was so responsible. So I never dealt with that. So I was 13, and I let years go by. No one really knew about it in high school. I kind of just, made myself very busy, involved myself with a lot of friends, and that does not work. And this is a time where therapy is not really, something that's, talked about, or, like it is today. So fast forward to when I'm, college and graduating college, I'm 21 years old. I was a very anxious person. I didn't realize it was anxiety and depression. I was kind of harboring all of that stuff secretly. And my boyfriend at the time kind of knew the things I was struggling with. But my first job out of college, I worked in an office in Beverly Hills, and the Astral twins, their manager worked in that office. And they came in and or she said they were coming. She was like, oh, they can do a chart reading. I was like, what? I love astrology. Like, of course. So when they came into the office and I met them for the first time, they looked at me and were like, oh, we think you're either a Taurus or a Scorpio. And I was blown away because I'm a Taurus sun and I'm a Scorpio rising. And I'm like, how do you do that? And I think they're like Scorpios and they have like Cap
They're
rising.
Sagittarius.
Oh, Sagittarius, but they have, Scorpio moon, I think,
Yeah.
like Cap rising or something. But anyway, they're very intuitive and they're able to look, astrology, your first house can describe your appearance. So they were able to kind of
Yeah.
see that. And I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this. So that was just pure curiosity. I bought like my two first astrology books. They're right up there. I still reference them today. Yes, it's like, and this was guys, this is before like social media. This was 2005. So we have Facebook. Facebook had just become a thing. So we had to read books to learn astrology.
Yes.
Yeah, and then learning about the charts, and it unfolded. So it was a hobby for me for a very long time. And my Capricorn boyfriend, of course, was like, you need to charge for this. And I'm like, no one's gonna pay for this. Like, this is no. So it took me a while. We broke up. Fast forward 2015, I actually finally started a business where I like announced my Scorpio boyfriend built the website. And I was just doing it for friends and like coworkers. I worked in the beauty industry and product development. So I have a background doing that for like 12 years. And so my first clients were like coworkers, really.
Mhm.
And so it just kind of organically happened. So I continued to do astrology while I was working. And so, fast forward now, we're in 2023. I went back to business school, just graduated last year from UCLA. And I have this brand, and I'm now finally full time in this astrology thing. I'm an editor for astrology.com, and horoscope.com. And I can't even, all I have to say is just if you are called to do something, just do it. Patty and I both, got into this because it was a calling for us, clearly. And we just followed the signs. We followed the journey and look, we're doing the thing that we love the most.
Exactly. And it is a journey, and it's an intentional journey because I have put it down, I should say I tried to put it down, and it just kept calling because it's hard.
Right.
Especially back in the 90s and the early 2000s, people were very much not wanting to tell people that, oh yeah, I spoke to an astrologer.
Right.
And I had a lot of celebrity clients. I was in LA and would do a lot of celebrity parties and events. And it was like, it had to be secret. And it's like, how am I going to open this up?
Right.
It's so secret. But I wouldn't change it for anything. It is my biggest tool for knowing myself first, and then being able to give insight to others so they can start to heal and be more confident in what they're doing and where they're going.
Yes. And I think like we had this discussion like offline, and we were talking about how, the older you get, the better of an astrologer you should become because you live the transits. And, I think when you're first starting out studying astrology, if any of you are interested in that, it's really about learning your chart first and feeling the energy of the planets, because you're kind of your job as an astrologer is to take a 2D representation of the sky and put it in layman's terms for somebody to understand themselves. And that's a skill set that you either have it or you don't. I think you can study astrology from like the concept of it, and then but to take it the next step and really help people and be a counselor, because that's really what you are, is a whole nother
Totally. Yes.
ballgame. And I think your experiences, obviously, and my experiences, and living through the Saturn return, you're in your second Saturn return right now, right? We were talking about that.
And it's almost like a double because I had my Saturn return and then Saturn went into Pisces. So it's on
Oh,
my sun,
yes.
it's like double. But we will give you, all this information. You don't have to be an astrologer to listen to what we have to share, but it is a tool to help you. So you can go to astrologer and not feel like, oh, it's scary, or they're talking to whoever you think we're talking to. We're just working with the universe. And I just want to leave with one little insight that may open you up. And that is what was really amazing or enlightening to me was is I have 3 children. And as I said before, that my ex-husband got arrested, he went to jail. There's all these things. And how they all responded emotionally was so different.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the things that I know as siblings, as we who have siblings, we're like, we lived under the same roof, but we have a totally different experience.
Mhm.
And one of the strong planetary aspects of that is the moon.
Mhm.
So my 3 children have 3 different moon signs, and they all experienced emotionally metabolized all that stuff so differently. And me being able to see their moon sign really helped me to help them process and move forward in it and not get stuck.
Can you tell the moon signs just so we know for reference
Sure.
that you were dealing with,
So my son is an Aquarius moon.
like me?
So he dealt with the situation intellectually. Like,
Mhm.
okay, this is how it is. This is what's going on. I'm out. My oldest daughter is a Scorpio moon. She took the information, took it all in, and didn't share, didn't want to speak about it. It was just like locked in, and it wasn't good. And
Mhm.
then my youngest daughter is a Leo moon, and she was just,
Mhm.
everybody knew how she felt, when she felt it, why she felt it, the drama, all the energy had to come out so we all could experience how she expressed all her emotions. Girl.
And it's crazy because those are all fixed signs. They're all 3 fixed signs, but they're all so different. And
Yes.
so, but the commonality is that experience is rooted in their emotional DNA, which
Yes.
that's for all of us, anything we experience. But if you're a mutable sign, it might not affect you. But when you're a fixed sign, it's almost like taking a pole and sticking it in, and then that stays with you. And the Aquarius moon, that makes so much sense that your son kind of responded to that, because the first instinct is to detach and move on, right? But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean the emotions aren't there still.
Correct.
So how do you
Yeah.
really deal with it, right?
But it's just a little tidbit to give you for you to look at your own sibling situation or parents or your family dynamics and
Right.
have more compassion.
Yeah.
Just because you were in the same household and had the same experience, you're not going to respond and react the same way
Right.
because we're all on our own journey.
So
And
true.
so to be able to see that, so for me to be able to see how my children responded, it wasn't like, oh, well, why can't you? How come you can't be like your sister? It's like, he's not.
Right.
He's going to have to process it intellectually, detach, look at the situation, and keep moving. And
Mhm.
I need to respect and honor that, but also be able to gently make sure that he's okay and ask him questions, logical questions, so that he has some space that when he's ready that he can actually respond.
For sure. Yeah. It's so interesting because my brother has a Taurus moon. But both our moons, like my moon is square Pluto and his moon is opposite Pluto. So that just, I mean, there's family astrology. The astrology thing goes deep, right? So
Very deep.
again, and it's a fixed sign Taurus, the moon is exalted in Taurus. It's supposed to be safe and strong. So when you have a traumatic experience like that with your mother as a male, that changes your perception about how you deal with women, period.
Yes.
And he has Venus in Scorpio. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother episode. But I
It's
love
down
it.
the rabbit hole,
We
down the rabbit
love
hole,
to.
always.
When me and Patty talk, it's literally like, oh, wait, we were supposed to be going off this call and we just keep going. So I think we can leave it there because we don't want to give away all the juice in the first episode.
And we have some juice.
Oh, we're gonna do whole episodes on Patty's marriage. We're gonna do whole episode like that's we're gonna talk about our relationships, my divorce. So this is personal. We're giving you the raw uncut. We're gonna be super vulnerable here because this is what it's about, right? And this is how we
And, there's trauma. for both of us. And for most people out there, you have trauma. So to be able to look out and see what the universe has in store for us, or how we can get through it, a timeline, the energy that we can access is so helpful. And that nobody's being punished. We are going through experiences to rise, not to succumb and fail, but to rise.
Right. I love that. That was a perfect way to end us.
Yes.
And thank you for listening. We're excited to be on this journey with you. And we will catch you on our next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.